It's the season to celebrate, and the trend toward non- and lower alcoholic beverages is continuing to grow. Joining us live to share some tips on creative mocktails are beverage experts Anna Fitzgibbons and Fernando Sousa. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, I know that during the pandemic, when a lot of people had to acknowledge that they were becoming dependent on alcohol, or just the people who have realized that it's a lot of calories and it leads to a spike in blood sugar, they're wanting to turn to more mocktails. What have you noticed with the growth of non-alcoholic beverages?
Well, great question, actually. So with the holiday season now in full swing, we find that the trend towards lower alcohol and non-alcoholic cocktails is actually becoming much more commonplace and is definitely here to stay. Consumers are really driving that trend in popularity just by being more mindful about what they drink and how they drink it.
Yeah, mindful drinking is huge right now. So what are some of the options that people can use to be more mindful about how much alcohol they're consuming?
Yeah, so one great thing about the fact that this category is expanding and that consumers are demanding more variety is that it's an opportunity to be both creative and inclusive when hosting, right? So for example, you can create a classic cocktail like you typically would, and Fernando's going to show us how to make one today, or you can substitute half or the full serving for a non-alcoholic spirit, and then all of a sudden you're serving a different kind of experience for your guests. And so it really gives you an opportunity to be more inclusive.
I love that you're saying inclusive, because you also just never know the reasons why somebody might not want to have an alcoholic beverage. So Fernando, take it away. Show us what you're gonna make today.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be making the Autumn in Tennessee, and this is one of our recipes from our new book, the Serve and Sip book. And this essentially is a great collection of curated recipes that we have, like infused waters, how to batch cocktails, again, tips on how to be that consummate host during holiday gatherings. And like I mentioned, the Autumn in Tennessee, it's a classic kind of riff on an old fashioned. So we're using a little bit of aromatic bitters, orange bitters as well, which you can find at your liquor store, just as prevalent as the whiskey you see here. We're using maple syrup to kind of stay in theme with the season and get everyone excited about the holidays. We're using about a teaspoon or about an eighth of an ounce in this cocktail. And then, of course, some 8-year-old George Nickel whiskey here. And like Anna mentioned, in an effort to really not challenge the integrity of these cocktails, being able to split that ounce and a half with 3/4 of an ounce of whiskey and 3/4 of an ounce of seedlip is probably the best way to showcase a lower alcohol version of this cocktail. So I'm just going to add some ice here for you. And we're going to stir this at home, typically about 20 to 30 seconds. But for today, I'm just going to show off this technique here, stirring in a mixing glass about 4 or 5 seconds, just to get a proper chill. And then we're going to pour this over a large ice cube, which I have prepped right here for you. And grab our little strainer here. And feel free to practice this at home as well. That way you look like the consummate professional mixologist that we all know is inside of you. And we're going to garnish this with a brandied cherry and a fresh orange twist.
It looks beautiful. I'm sure it tastes the same. If you're really going for taste of those drinks, I think that's a great option. Where can people, you mentioned that you've got more tips for safe and creative ways to indulge in non-alcoholic beverages. Where can they go for those tips? Where can they go for more recipes just like that one?
Yeah, so in order to find this recipe as well as some others, you can go to our Instagram page, which is Diageo_NA, and there you'll also find the full gamut of what's in the Serve and Sip Volume 2. And as you're hosting, make sure you serve water, make sure you have non-alcoholic options, make sure you have things that don't center around alcohol. And also, one of the things that I like to say is don't top off people's drinks. Make sure they can keep track of how much alcohol, if they're drinking, how much alcohol they're consuming.
Yes, I love that. I love this whole segment. You guys are awesome, and we will definitely be able to link to Diageo on our website, click2houston.com. Thank you for joining me this morning. I think what you're sharing is really, really helpful for people.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.